So today we're going to be talking about the other kind of permits that you can apply here in Tanzania. If you haven't seen the video about the resident permit and the visa permit, make sure to subscribe and check on the channel. We actually have the videos about the visa permit and the resident permit. Or you can actually check on the description there. I left the link to those videos. And today we're going to be talking about other kind of permits that you can get here in Tanzania. Let's get started.
Exemption certificate. Exemption certificate is issued to diplomats, envoys accredited to the United Republic of Tanzania, consuls, and foreigners whose services have been contracted by the government, wife and dependent children of the diplomats, foreign expatriates involved in the government projects, students from the EEC member states. Note, no fee is paid for the exemption certificate. Requirements for exemption certificate. Covering letter from a given institution. Application form duly filled. Letter from President's Office Public Service Management. Not applicable for EA students. Copy of work permit from the Office of Labor Commissioner exemption. Passport copy. 5 passport copy. Curriculum vitae. Academic certificates. In case of renewal, previous exemption certificate should be attached. Exemption certificate for East African students. Covering letter from Registered University College Institute. Application form duly filled. Passport copy. Admission letter from University College Institute. 5 passport size. Academic certificates. Previous exemption certificate in case of renewal. Requirements for family members in exemption certificate. Passport copy of dependent, copy of marriage certificate for dependent wife, copy of birth certificate for children. Where applicants are to be accompanied with dependents, the following documents must be attached with the application form. Identification pages of the dependent, S. Passport, S. Marriage certificate, birth certificate of the child or children. Media permit. Foreign companies, groups, individuals who seek to undertake assignments as journalists, photographers, television and film producers, researchers and book writers are required to apply for permits to undertake such assignments. The application form for media permit in Tanzania mainland and Zanzibar, journalistic, filming or photography, work must be endorsed by the High Commission and sent back to the applicant. The applicant, with the help of the host institution or person, should forward the endorsed application form and fee 1 month before the commencing date of the assignment to the Director, National Film Censorship Board, Department of Culture Development, Ministry of Information, Youth, Culture and Sports, P.O. Box 8031, Dar es Salaam. For more information on filming permit, press accreditation, broadcasting and fees, please visit https://www.tanzania.go.tz/massmedia. Note, the above media permit applications is separate from entry visa, which should be made to the nearest consulate, embassy, resident, and work permit application should be made to the Immigration Department in Tanzania before entry to Tanzania. Journalism permit. Please prepare the following items and submit them to the High Commission for authorization. Application form, cover letter, synopsis or script, equipment list, list of crew members, if any. Make checks payable to Tanzania Information Services. Research permit. The applicant, S, should fill in an application for research clearance, attaching a CV, curriculum vitae form, a synopsis or script when forwarding both the applications. The application must be made 2 months before the commencing date of the research assignment. Requirements for this permit are: a copy of pages of the passport with the detailed information of the passport holder, 5 passport size pictures of the applicant, introduction letter from the institution or university inviting the applicant for research, CV and certificate of university or institution attended by the applicant, a completed application form to be link downloaded or provided by immigration office residence permit fee of $120 to be paid at immigration office. A completed research clearance form to be downloaded or provided by the Tanzania Commission for Science and Technology, COSTECH. Application fee of $50 to be paid at COSTECH. If your application is successful, you will be required to pay research fee $300 per person at COSTECH. While researchers and academic book writers should send the application and fee directly to Director General, Tanzania Commission for Science and Technology, COSTECH. Note, the above research permit applications is separate from entry visa, which should be made to the nearest consulate embassy. Resident and work permit application should be made to the Immigration Department in Tanzania before entry to Tanzania. Import permit food, plants, pets and animal products. Quantity control measures. A special import permit issued by the Director of Agriculture and Food Security in Tanzania is required for the entry of fresh fruit, plants, plant parts, and seeds. An import permit issued by the National Food Commission is required for the entry of meat and edible meat offal, edible vegetable, roots and tubes, and edible fruits and nuts. A permit from the Ministry of Water and Livestock Development, Veterinary Services is required for the importation of live horses, dogs, cats, swine, sheep and goats. A permit issued by the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is required for imports of live trees and other plants, bulbs, roots and the like, cut flowers and ornamental foliage, plants and parts, that is seeds and fruits fresh or dried, crushed, powdered, vegetable planting materials, raw vegetable materials. Prohibitions. Prohibition is set on imports of food containing cyclamates or any cyclamate salts for use in food products. Technical measures. Imports of spirits other than gin, Geneva, Hollands, schnapps, or liqueurs for human consumption must give satisfactory proof that the spirits to be imported have been matured by storage in wood for a period of not less than 3 years. In the same context, medicines and foodstuffs must have a minimum remaining shelf life of 6 months at the time of importation. However, brandy under certain conditions is exempt from this regulation. A sanitary certificate from a qualified veterinary surgeon in the country of export must accompany every imported animal. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in Tanzania is responsible for the certification of all plants and plant products, propagative matter, seedlings. Imported plants are subject to a sanitary certificate signed by an appropriate government official in the country of origin of the goods. Specific labeling requirements are set on imported canned condensed milk for human consumption, vegetable and butter ghee, paints and varnishes. Under the Animal Ordinance Cap 156, the Ministry of Water and Livestock Development's Zoo Sanitary Inspector is responsible for inspection procedures relating to health and sanitary regulations. Imported animals are subject to quarantine regulations and to examination by a veterinarian at the port of entry. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is responsible for the inspection of imported plants, the importation of fresh fruit, plants, plant parts, and seeds are subject to quarantine regulations and may enter only at designated ports, where they will be subject to examination. Special customs formalities. Imported animals may enter only at designated ports. Imports of the following plants should be made through designated port of entry: coffee except roasted beans, cotton, tobacco, cacao, coconuts, groundnuts, lucerne and clover, rubber, maize, wheat, cloves, peach, barberry, buckthorn, and potatoes. Source: this information has to be verified from Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security and Ministry of Water and Livestock Development in Tanzania. Procedure for bringing pets to Tanzania. It is possible to import dogs and cats, but health and vaccination certificates are required. Dogs and cats should be vaccinated for rabies at least 1 month and not more than 3 years prior to their entry into Tanzania. An import permit should be obtained by sending a letter of request to the Director of Veterinary Services in Tanzania. Ministry of Water and Livestock Development, see address above. In this letter the applicant should state, type, breed of pet, age, port of entry in Tanzania and attach vaccination certificates. The following vaccinations are recommended: DHLP, distemper, hepatitis, leptospirosis and parvo. Puppies should be vaccinated when they are 5 to 7 weeks old, with repeat vaccinations 2 weeks and 6 weeks later. The rabies vaccination should be administered with the third vaccination. Vaccination for worms should be done every 3 months, so the pets may be given worm tablets every 45 days. Note: if applicant has hosts in Tanzania, it is helpful if they make a follow-up of the application and collect the permit on behalf. Imported animals are subject to examination by a veterinarian at the port of entry and subject to quarantine if need be. If you want to take your pet back with you, obtain an export permit. The above permit applications is separate from entry visa, which should be made to the nearest consulate high commission. Resident and work permit application should be made to the Immigration Department in Tanzania before entry to Tanzania. Married in Tanzania abroad. If you are intending to get married in Tanzania, a certificate of no impediment from your home country is required. Documents required: you were never married before. You are divorced and attach the relevant divorce certificate, or you were widowed and attach the relevant document. This certificate proves that no legal impediments to the intended marriage is known to the responsible authority in your country. Other useful documents to have are birth certificate, or personal information from Registrar of Population in your country. If you intend to be married in church, a letter from your pastor priest will be helpful. Notice of marriage and application for special marriages license. If you have less than 21 days required to put a notice of intention to marry, you need to make an application for special marriages license from the Registrar of Marriages. An application form for special marriages license will be issued and duly filled in. A copy of the certificate of no impediment attached to it. The form must be signed and legalized by a lawyer or an advocate. The form must then go back the Registrar of Marriages, where it will be checked. A fee will be paid and the special marriage license will be issued. With this license, the couple must report to the District Commissioner's office, church or mosque, depending on the place where the marriage will take place and the person who will solemnize the marriage, to set the date of the marriage. 2 witnesses selected by the couple, resident or non-resident, will have to accompany the couple on the marriage date. After the ceremony, a Tanzanian marriage certificate, in duplicate, will be issued, abiding to the rules of your country. If an international certificate of marriage is required on your return to your country, the Tanzanian marriage certificate must then be brought back to the Registrar of Marriages, Arusha office, for registration by filling in form number RGM 111. Application for registration for a foreign marriage. A fee of approximately TZS 22,000 is paid to obtain a copy of the entry in the Register of Foreign Marriages. An additional TZS 7,000 is required for the international marriage certificate to be issued before leaving Tanzania. This international marriage certificate must be certified by the Tanzanian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Legal Department, before being presented to your embassy for legalization. The legalized document can then be recorded with your municipality commune civil record office. Please contact your embassy in Tanzania for any further information on this. Requirements are birth certificate in English, passport, 2 witnesses, can be locally provided if necessary in the marriage vows. Marriage certificates of Zanzibar must be certified by the Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation and Dar es Salaam, and other procedures given above. Getting married abroad, NDOA. When a citizen of the United Republic of Tanzania desires to contract a marriage with a citizen of another country, a certificate of no impediment is needed if the law of that country requires him/her to produce one. This certificate is proof that no legal impediment to the intended marriage is known to the responsible authority in Tanzania, Registrar General of Marriages. The embassy does not issue such certificates but is mandated to endorse and forward forms for application of certificates for no impediment, RGM 12, directly to the Registration, Insolvency and Trusteeship Agency, Rita, Kipralapala Street, Apanga. When the certificate is issued, the applicant is supposed to bring it to the embassy for endorsement. Check with our High Commission Embassy Consulate. Please subscribe, like to support the channel and watch our video about Tanzania visa and resident permit.
So thank you guys, hope you guys have enjoyed and actually gotten something out of this video if you are actually looking for this kind of content. And if you want for more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button because it helps growing the channel, and also you'll be getting other content like this about Tanzania and other countries too that may help you in traveling on your next trip. Until then, if you're just here to enjoy and see you next time. Bye bye.